Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe where we help and heal one day at a time. We're going to talk about some of the things that the narcissist took from us, and also two of the most important things that they will steal from your heart. So they do start taking away how you feel about yourself, what your reality is, your confidence, your energy, your focus, your ability to work. They take away so much of your life. But one of the worst things that a narcissist will take from you is who you are, your soul. They'll change you into having different kinds of mannerisms and the way you talk. I know with mine, I kept saying, like, even the way I talk, this is not how I talk to other people, because you got to word things the exact right way. And then it still doesn't help. They'll take away your mental sanity, your own reality. So who you are, what your life is, the way you communicate, they take you away from you. And no matter how much you try to rebalance it, it's almost impossible to get back. And the other thing that they will steal from you is your friends and family. Sometimes they will try to isolate you. But the worst part is when they take your friends and family away in a different way, to where we're hurting, we're trying to communicate, and people who have never been in a narcissistic relationship will never understand. It's almost like we're trying to understand this narcissist, and we're like, kind of, but still doesn't make sense. Like, we can't quite get it. And that's the same with the family members, the friends. And we're hurting so bad. Sometimes we overtalk it. Well, we want to feel some peace in our heart. So we reach out to the people that we love. And then they start cutting us down. So we got the narc cutting us down. We got our friends and family members. I just got off the phone with my best friend, and it was horrendous. It was absolutely cold, horrendous, cutting me down, saying a bunch of crap. It was very hurtful, extremely hurtful. And she just would not process what I am saying. And they can't relate to it. Like, what I am saying, like, I do know what I'm saying. I recognize everything. I understand the dynamics. I know what has gone wrong. Um, and my best friend just is like, "You're delusional." I'm like, "No, like, I know what they're doing. I know why they did it. This is, on and on." But it was a really bad argument. And same with my daughter. She hated him. She hated him because of the way I had a miscarriage and he wasn't able to be there. 45 minutes from dying, and she was there. She watched me, like, it was terrible, like, bleed out. And she was only 16, and it was during a terrible snowstorm. And she came back a couple times because she was getting so sick about all the blood and stuff, and how cold he was. Like, "Oh, well, at least you're home now." And I'm like, "Oh, that was like 3 days ago," because I had to get blood transfusions. But like, my daughter and I, we're not talking right now. My best friend and I, we're fighting. And you just try to, like, with my daughter, I am still kind of like talking in a friendship manner with this person. He is, for the last 4.5 months, trying. He's succeeding as far, but it's still, the word vomit, where it's like, so Monday we are going to kind of either work something out that works for both of us, or we're saying goodbye. But even my daughter, like, I don't talk about him. But anytime I'm on the phone, she starts getting angry at me. And then that turns into a fight. Like, if I'm like, "Oh, I was just talking to my female friend," and she's like, "No, you weren't." And I'm like, "Yes, I was." Like I legitimately was, but she won't believe me. And um, it takes away your friends, your family, and it's not even him doing it directly, indirectly, just trying to communicate, or even not trying to communicate. It's like a double-edged sword. No matter what you do, you can't win. So basically, you lose everything. And that's why, like, when I say, the beast that devours your soul, it takes your life from you. For last couple of years, I'm very self-motivated. I am self-employed. I teach online. So thank goodness, I can have my little breakdowns. I can schedule things that work around me. But it's hard. Like, when I was a gym teacher, and I just would, like, cry. I would just cry before the kids would come. Sometimes they would still see that, I was crying at work. Couldn't really even concentrate. Being a gym teacher, couldn't concentrate. And you know, teaching online, I'm still healing, so I'm just going through. I know these classes by heart, but there's times I'm like, how did I get through that class? Like, I don't even know what I'm saying. The words just come out because I just know what to say. Um, and it's like you go into overdrive. I've been an actress before. So you do, like when you go on stage, you do sometimes lose yourself if you guys are actors or actresses, to where you just don't see anything. You might see, like, it's just weird. But you lose yourself. And I had it once where I was acting. I'm like, had like processing it. Like, how did I even know when to say my lines, what lines to say? It just happened. And that's kind of what, you know, the teaching online has been like, to where I lost that time. I did it, but I was in an altered reality. Like, it messes with your mind, because I was never like that. On my good days when I'm not sad, um, I'm conscious of what I'm saying. I'm conscious of, you know, not just superficially seeing the kids and their reactions and their comments, but like really getting into it. And a lot of that's from the narcissistic abuse. I had my neighbor stop by today, knocking on my door. Like I said, I'm still talking to that guy. But it was like a shell shock. We're not dating, but it was like a shell shock from all those years of abuse. I've told you in other videos that I had this like constant adrenaline rush. It's not a heartache, like a love heartache. It's a body ache because of how much adrenaline of all these uh, false futures that they promise you, to where you're high anxiety. Like, when is this going to happen? How are we going to do this? And I'm trying to communicate with you, and it just throws you into this adrenaline rush for years that you can't calm down. And it's been 2.5 years. I've been trying to get my body to just calm down. And it's hard sitting just teaching online, and you're like, I wish my body, like, this hurts. It's very painful because of the trauma bond. The chemistry just gets all whacked off in your brain, or whacked around in your brain. It changes you. It physically change. It's like brain damage. You get PTSD, CPTSD, where it's prolonged. Trauma bonds are caused from intermittent reinforcement. And if you look at your relationship, you didn't have your safe spot. And so you loved the person. So you tried harder and this and that. And it just, because it wasn't consistent, you know, like one day you make spaghetti and they love it. The next day they hate it. The next day they're like, why didn't you do this? And it messes with your mind. That's where the trauma bond happens. That's why good communication is so important, and truthful communication, because that's your reality. And people out in the world, so many people lie. So many people do things for reasons. They lie so they can take the day off of work. Like, you know, I'm not going to say you're fat and hurt your feelings. So I might say, you know, something a different way. Because we're trying to be polite, but we also, you know, what's the reality? And there's times when we know what the truth is. Like, if I weighed, I don't know, 600 pounds, and I'm like, do you think I'm a little overweight? And you're like, oh no, baby, you're not. No, it, I know I am. But we're so afraid of not hurting people. There's so many lies, white lies, that go on in this society that it's hard to tell between the narcissist and white lies, or people trying to be polite, false promises like, yeah, we'll have lunch next week, and you don't. Sometimes you kind of don't expect it, but when you're with somebody, you should expect, yeah, we're going to have lunch next week. Or, you know, I know I'm 600 pounds, or I'm not, but there's a reality that, you know, and when we try to communicate with them, they bring us into this alter reality, and we're like, wait, how is that true? We try to understand it. They take away so much from us, and it leads to physical pain, loss of family and friends. Even like with my daughter, just a phone call, not even from him, and now I'm not talking to her, you know. And it's just crazy. That I thought that was something that really take to heart, you know, in these relationships. Like I said, my friend has no clue what I'm talking about. My friend is trying. Is that going to last forever? No, because we even talked about maybe saying goodbye on Monday. if we can't come to some common ground. But he's been trying for 4.5 months, has upheld it, but we're not also dating anymore. So it's different um, because I don't have to rely on him. I don't have to believe that we're going to work towards a future. And we need the boundaries because his promises, whether it was to hang out or see each other, I waited like 3 years for an activity to go do something. And we saw each other. We saw each other quite a bit. But for 3 years, I just wanted to do an activity. And that never came to fruition. And I'm like, we finally had the opportunity we had all summer. And it never happened. And that was 3 years to just go chill somewhere out, at a bar or a movie or go for a walk. It didn't even have to cost money. You wait 3 years. That's why I'm like, when COVID happened, you promised you'd see me. You stopped by my house and said you wanted to see me next week, and 8.5 months go by. And then, I got ghosted when and then we start talking again. And I'm like, can we see each other? It's been 8.5 months. You said you'd come by. I know you want to come by. Are you holding back? What are we doing? And because he's in a new relationship. And it was always like, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Made plans. Then I get blown off. And it's like, geez, so we're talking like either we can get together for a hug every 3 minutes or every 3 months for 1 minute. If I can't have a hug every 3 months for 1 minute and a weekly phone call, like this is dumb because I can't reach out to you, just call you because you're with somebody else. And, we do have a good friendship. Like we get along really good. And that's the thing with narcissists is sometimes it's horrible with narcissists. There's like different types. But he's one of those like grandiose and flamboyant, exciting, intelligent. And I kind of like intelligent people, have the great conversations, very witty. We're just a good match as far as conversations, but as far as promises, it destroyed what we had. We were supposed to get married, and it was just on the way we communicated because there was too many false promises that he didn't come through with. Just like we'll go do an activity. You wait 3 years. Just like planning our future. It messes with your mind. And then you go through depressions and confusion and trying to figure things out. And just think of how many hours you spend on YouTube searching for answers. That's how confusing this is. So if it's this confusing for you who have been through it, think about somebody who's never been through it. And they think they have these solutions when they don't understand exactly what they're saying. Just like my grandmother had sent my sister something on being overweight. And sometimes you can hurt somebody more if you do it the wrong way. And a lot of times people will overeat when they go through that. So sometimes, unless you've ever been heavy, like I've lost 80 pounds. So if you understand it, what hurts and what triggers are and how someone's going to react. But when you don't know, just like my friend, how horrible she was on the words that she was saying, and not taking a step back to understand what I'm saying, because she keeps going, this is what you want. This is what you want. I'm like, that's not where I'm at. Listen to what I'm saying. No, this is what you want. You want to marry him. I'm like, well, I want that, but that's not where we're at. And she's like, but that's what you want. And I'm like, but that's not where we're at. I'm just happy that he's trying to communicate with me, but that's not what you want. And then she starts like tearing me up. And so I hope you had a better day than me. All right, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Please comment below.